Hello, once again. Sorry for the technical thing. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, good. Now, okay. Now we are done. As I said, up to now, 3 tunes. Now, did you have a time to go through the tunes that we have discussed already? Starting from tune number 1 about the understanding of marketing and marketing management and various concepts of marketing. That is the first one we did, and then we went into discuss on the marketing management process, right? And then last week we continued that marketing management process discussion. We talk about the competition and customer types and various things with regard to understanding the marketing environment. Okay, so let me how do you all okay, shall we start like this now? If you want to summarize what we have discussed over the last 3 weeks, we may have to use some questions, right? So give me a minute. Hello, can you all see some questions on the screen? Hello?
No, sir.
No. Can you see now? This tube, can you all see? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Right, can see. Okay. Can you hear me now? Right. Now, if I ask you how to define marketing, That was the first tut that we discussed. Can someone tell me the definition of marketing, the most appropriate definition that I told you during the discussion? What is? How do you define marketing? The term. Can someone answer? Hello, you hear me? Hello. Hello. How do you define marketing, the term? Can you see this these questions? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Right. Define marketing and explain the key terms, meanings there. So, how do you define marketing? If you ask you in a exam question, define marketing. So, how do you define marketing? What is marketing? Hello.
Marketing is the management process
Yes.
that
Hello.
identifies and
Okay.
anticipates and satisfies customer requirement, profitability, efficiency, and in a social acceptable manner.
Perfect. That's very good. That's what the definition is. So that's what I want. So like that, I will share with you some questions with regard to the sessions that we discussed. Then can you see these questions? Hello.
Yes, sir, we can.
Right. Explain how marketing concepts can be useful in today's business. So you can give your you think marketing is useful in today's business, for banking business, and why? Let's have a few questions. From the three discussions that we had in the last 3 weeks, you should be able to answer this question. Do you think marketing will help in growing business?
Yes.
And why? How does it help? Try. So we'll have to have a discussion, please. We won't take much time. Maybe take about few minutes.
To attract new clients.
Pardon?
To attract new customers and to retain existing customers with us.
Yes. Yes. Brilliant. Actually, marketing will help you to retain your existing customers and also attract new customers. In order to grow our business, these are the two things that we should be doing. So there are existing customers that we have to satisfy them and retain them. Otherwise, they will be attracted to some other competitor, isn't it? So marketing is helping us to attract. How do we attract customer? By understanding their needs, right? And having our products and services to suit their requirements. we plan our marketing offers, our promotions, and try to keep them with us in a lifelong way. We discussed about the customer lifetime value. Remember the example I shared with you in the remember that 4 million customer at Food City. Hello, you remember that?
Yes, sir.
Right. So that's how we have to keep your customers throughout. Now that's in the Food City example, we are talking of keeping the customer with that outlet for next 40 years. Now that's how they have planned. The manager said for a month this customer is buying at least 8,000 to 10,000 worth stuff, and into 12 it's about 1 lakh for a year, or minimum 1 lakh. And then if you retain the customer 40 years, you will have 4 million income coming from minimum from that customer. So bank customers also the same story. So if you satisfy our customers and have attention, give them personalized service, then we can build a lot of lifelong customers, isn't it? So if you go back to the marketing definition, we have to always understand the customer requirements. It is as you said, management. It is a management. Marketing is a management process that identifies, satisfies, and also even anticipates anticipate the customer requirements. Anticipation is the understanding their future needs too, and then satisfy those in a manner which is profitable to the company, in an efficient manner, and also in a way which is socially responsible, because we can't just do things that are unethical. Always remember, we as bankers, we have to be very careful about our ethics. Whatever marketing activities that we do, whatever marketing promotions that we do, we have to do all that in an ethical manner. Because if you don't be mindful about your ethical behavior, that can make a huge damage to your brand, which has happened in the past in some cases. You remember, mostly not in banks, but maybe elsewhere. But ethical behavior of our employees is very critical, because we are, more than any other business, we are dealing with their valuables, their money, their other properties, the title documents, and all that. The gold, all that they are keeping with us because of the trust. So if you do not show that ethical behavior, the customer will be scared to deal with us. You agree with me? So what are its specific benefits to bankers? So as I said, in two ways we will have to grow our business, as you said. First, by retaining customers, and secondly by attracting customers from other banks. In Sri Lanka, the market, the banking population, or banking demand. So demand for banking business is not growing that much. No, it's a saturated market. Maybe there's a little growth in banking requirements. So mostly what will happen is each bank is trying to grab customers from other banks. That is what is happening. So in the previous years, you remember, a lot of private banks came and grabbed customers from state banks. Now, having realized that challenge, state banks like Bank of People's Bank started improve their services and products and their marketing efforts, and they were trying to retain they are valuable customers without letting them go into the competition. So there's a huge competition now. The large banks are trying to defend their market share, and whilst medium-sized banks are trying to grab market share from the bigger players. That is what is happening, because our market share is our market size and the potential is not growing. Not growing in a higher speed as we require. Now in today's context, this matter is very serious, because a lot of import restrictions have come in. You cannot import vehicles, you cannot import some building material like tiles and accessories. You cannot import certain luxurious goods. Now the market potential or import, the potential for import businesses has shrunk. So therefore now there's a huge competition among banks to keep that little business they already enjoy. And the specific, according to the question, what are its specific benefits? So when you have a marketing mindset, then you always try to understand your customer requirements, and also you will try to study the competition, because to be real marketing oriented organization, you need to know your customers well, and also you need to your competitors well. That's why we studied competition, remember, because you have to have the market intelligence as to what are the actions and reactions, what are the future strategies of our competition, what type of products and services they have, what are the strengths and weaknesses in their products and services as against our offers. So marketing will help you to understand your customers better and your competition better. So when you have a very good knowledge about your competition and very good understanding about your customers, then you can really become a marketing oriented organization. Then you will have your marketing audits or what marketing analysis, trying to understand what are our strengths and our weaknesses, and what are the opportunities in the market. How do we capitalize those opportunities? What are the threats that are emerging? How do we minimize those threats and meet and continue our business? Sometimes how do we convert some of those threats to opportunities, and so on. Now, in the recent past, you all had a lot of refinance support from central bank because of this COVID situation, you all know. So a lot of loans are now being given at lower rates, supported by the bank. So there is an opportunity. There was a threat of pandemic, and now central bank has come and given you billions of support in terms of funding and refinance and all sort of things, in order for you to continue and support SMEs and various other businesses. So that has become an opportunity. So over the last few months, banks have lent billions of money funded by the government as working capital loans and business loans and so on. And in the same time, there are support given for housing loans. Now housing loans are given at a very low rates, supported by the government, which is also an opportunity that is created due to the pandemic situation. So if we hadn't have this pandemic situation, these opportunities would have emerged. You understand? So that's why sometimes there may be situations where the threats can create some business opportunities. And one good example I can remember is when you, if you are aware, during that time we had this, you know, what do you call that? That tsunami period. So a lot of places got devastated. The hotels washed away and businesses washed away. You remember that, right? So that time, a lot of dollars came into the country by way of support, aids, and soft loans. And you remember, billions of dollars came. And as a result, countries' trade balance, countries' reserve position was really improved. So that was a plus soon after COVID. But only thing, our politicians couldn't manage the situation, manage that those funds properly, and used to our advantage. But that's a different story. But so there was a good opportunity, a lot of inflow of dollars into the country. So like that, there can be during a threat, there can be, so smart marketers will what smart marketers will do is they will capitalize on these opportunities that are coming due to, that are emerging due to the threats, and take the biggest advantage they can enjoy. So therefore, marketing, the specific benefits to bankers is marketing will help you to understand the customers better, and understand the competition better, understand strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats better, and convert them to companies' advantage. And so we as bankers, we must be, therefore, have a good knowledge about our customers, our whether customers are happy with our existing products and services, and also about the competitor offers. Okay, so so that's how you answer that question. Can you see these questions? Question number 4. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello. Yeah. Hello. Can you see?
Yes, sir.
Right. Explain 5 marketing management philosophies and how they have evolved over the last many years. So what are the these are the type of questions that you will get in an exam. So we in an exam we will not ask only the theories, but you will have to discuss as to how you make use those concepts in a practical sense in a real world. So anyone can remember the 5 marketing management philosophies that we studied in the
Production
tube number?
production concept, product concept, selling concept, marketing concept, and societal marketing concept.
Right. Very good. Very good. So those are the that is how the marketing got evolved over the years. You remember about, say, you would have studied that in the management studies. We are talking of scientific management era. That time, that was the time the production was the key concern. Every company was trying to produce as much as they can and produce efficiently. The scientific management concepts were introduced that time. It's about 100 years, 70 to 100 years ago. All those principles were to increase efficiency in production. The specialization, division of labor, all those concepts you remember when you study management. There the focus is the production efficiency and produce as much as possible. Because why? Whatever that time is produced, they could sell without a problem because there was a huge demand. So that time the demand was bigger than the supply. There were no enough supplies, and there were not many supplies. As a result, production was so the companies who had the production capacity and the companies who had ability to produce their goods in an efficient manner were booming, right? And that's how these large companies like Toyota, Sony, some European companies, all those companies started during that period. Even some FMCG companies like Coca-Cola and all those very old companies, they, and not only FMCG but also electronic good manufacturers, vehicle manufacturers. Remember the Ford and all Ford cars. Well, those are introduced during the production era. So the advantage they had was whatever they produced, they could sell. So then came a situation, some people, some customers were specific about product as well, product quality also. So then gradually these companies were trying to focus on the quality of product. One side they have the production capacity, and at the same time they improved their quality. That is how this little bit of branding, little bit of designs, design cars, and cars that have various features like safety, comfort, and all those. If you take automobile industry, introduced, and also if you take electronic like Sony and all, Sony TV, Sony equipments. So they were also focusing on a little bit of branding and building a name for their individual products. So still during that time, the advantage the companies had was there were limited number of manufacturers, there was enough demand. The population has been demanding, and these people had the opportunity, had the advantage of being able to sell the products, whatever they produce. And then little by little came to a situation, the number of manufacturers were increasing, whatever area, the FMCG side, electronics, automobile, there are more and more manufacturers coming in to the industry. And as a result, the situation came, the demand and the supply got almost equal. So there are enough suppliers to meet the demand in the market. So then the competition in the business started emerging, because there are enough supplies to cater to demand. Then automatically the competition comes in, right? And then what happened? Then companies had to push their products somehow or other by incentivizing the customers or offering various discounts and other attractive offers, maybe quantity discounts or price discounts or any other offers, to convince or attract buyers towards their products. So that is how the competition came in. Now in today's even you see there are enough banks in the country now. Now the demand is even less than the supply now. There are every town, every city you find lot of banks. Lot of banks are offering, lot of bank branches are offering. So there's a huge competition between banks. And not only banks, there are other substitute companies like finance companies. Now we are now in a huge competition, and as a result, we time to time we need to, in order to retain the customer or attract the customer, use some selling tactics. So that type of orientation or that type of approach is called selling concept, right? Selling concept. The focus there is to push the products to the customer in whatever way by attracting the customers. Okay, you are clear that? Right? And then what happened was over the years, then even some customers are not very happy about this discounts and offers all the time, because even a product is bad. With some manufacturers are trying to sell those products, maybe low quality products, through discounts or incentives. So selling concepts are good, but by using selling concepts only, you cannot survive or grow in the business. So that is why the company started thinking of the satisfaction of customers. So they realize if you satisfy the customer or satisfy the customer needs in terms of whatever he has, whatever needs he or she has, then business can be sustained. That is how the marketing concepts came in. Marketing concept is about understanding customer needs and satisfying in a profitable way to the company. So marketing is therefore focusing the customer more than anything else. Customer satisfaction is the key there. In a selling concept, the key was somehow or other push the sale. There the concern is the company. The company is trying to push it to the market or to the customer. But so that is that selling concept was basically inside out concept. Whatever you have inside the company, you are trying to push it to the market at a price. That's called selling concept. But marketing is outside in approach. Why you call outside in approach? Because you first understand the external requirement. Then according to that requirement, you package your product. So that's what a lot of Japanese companies started doing that time. So Japanese companies, especially Sony, there are stories about how Sony started using marketing concepts. So what they did was they went to the market and studied the market requirement. So Sony researchers went and realized that in their initial studies, the customers wanted televisions at their homes, not to break down frequently. The earlier televisions, the European type, like Philips, Grundig and all, there were some brands which are well known prior to Sony came into the picture. So they were good quality TVs, but they are they are time to time they have been operational or functional malfunctioning issues. So time to time these TVs get broken. So then customers have to take it to the repair. So there's a disturbance. So Sony took that issue as a key thing, and they asked their engineers to make TVs that will not break. You remember when we had that advantage in Sony. Sony TV doesn't break. For years, maybe you'd have experience in your life at your early life at your home. There were TVs 10-15 years, they work continuously without any repair. So there are lifetime TVs. So Sony, so then they were trying to push that message to the market. The Sony TV doesn't break down. Don't break down. They once you buy it, you can use it for years and years without any issue. So that is one thing they maintain with regard to quality of television product. So there are hundreds of stories like that. So how did Sony was able to do that? Because they went and studied the market, the issues with regard to the product, and why customers don't like European products. Even the other features are good, because of they were breaking down time to time. So so therefore this outside in approach is marketing approach, where you understand the market requirements, market needs, issues customers face. If you have a solution to those, then your business can be very much sustainable, and customers will be continuously buying from you, and they will become loyal to your company. So then came the situation, time to time these companies were making profit, but there were issues with regard to some of these industrial type companies polluting the environment. They have no concern about the planet, right? Some companies are only profit motive. They don't even bother about the community. And these were the issues that some groups were talking about, that companies are only making profit. They don't do any, they don't have any social responsibility as corporates, and they kept on making money, and there was a huge opposition to the companies over the years. So then the concepts like this corporate social responsibilities and things came in, and what happened was the companies were compelled to think of not only profit but also the society and the planet as well. That is how this triple bottom line. The earlier companies were on a single bottom line, that is profit, using that profit objective only, and gradually, so a lot of companies started thinking in a more broader context, where they have a concern, they have to make profit definitely for growth and expansion requirement. At the same time, they have a little bit of responsibilities to the community, the society, the people out there, and also protecting the planet, especially the industrial. That's how even the banks in the recent times, remember these concepts like green banking, green concepts, because they had the concern for planet. Now, there are a lot of green banking concepts that the banks have introduced. What are the green bank? There are green buildings now. So energy is mostly coming from solar. The natural light is being used to light the building, the sunlight, and waste of paper. By digitalizing paperwork, paper means uh, production of paper means destruction of forests. Trees, exactly. So by minimizing the paper usage, you will save trees. So these are the green concepts that they keep. So in even in large buildings, bank buildings, there were regulations not to pollute the environment, not to dispose wastage in a manner that will impact the society or the cleanliness in the environment. So some banks were spending money to clean the environment. So a lot of concepts emerged due to the societal marketing approach. So banks, not only banks, all the companies, large companies, multinational companies were compelled to follow this approach so that more and more companies started looking at CSR, and the population or the people started respecting these people, these companies, and there were various odd programs that was introduced. Most respected companies in Sri Lanka, most respected corporates. So they were recognized based on the contribution they make to the society as a serious CSR organization or responsible organization. Green concept. So green banking, green marketing are, so in today's context, the digitalization help banks in various ways. It will help protecting the society and the planet, and also it will enhance efficiency. You with this pandemic, one big change that took place was a lot of companies were looking at work from home approach, and that had saved the planet in a huge, because your transport, your use of vehicles are reduced. It will reduce your cost as well as damage to the environment, the transportation. We have a time benefit, you have cost benefit, and the impact to the society, impact to the planet is very much minimized. Some companies now, those who are working 5, 6, 7 days a week, now their staff is asked to come to work only one day. All 3, 4 days, 5 days, they are working from home. Of course, certain things they had to have people, but many companies have looked at that option because that has saved their cost, as well as it has given huge benefits to the environment and benefits to the people, the staff, and that's how it has reshaped the the business and the working model of our organizations and workforce, right? So therefore, you must understand these approaches. Over the years, they have evolved from production to product to selling to marketing and more societal marketing. Now, even going beyond it to green marketing, green concepts, green banking, and which is good as we go. So we are all concerned about 3 P's: not only profit but also product. The planet and people too. Right? Okay. So I have given a detailed answer. So when you answer in the exam, you have to give these answers in a point form, not in maybe essay form. Explain the difference between selling and marketing. So I have already explained actually the difference between selling and marketing. So selling is a more seller-based approach. There, the company is focusing on the sales, focusing on about it's more of a selfish, I would say, motive. You somehow try to push your product by offering various attractions. Of course, that is needed, but give me a second. Yeah. All right. 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 Super. Mama may air call collection. Thank you. Okay, bye-bye. So selling is more focused on the producer or the manufacturer or the bank in this case, and marketing is focused on the customer. So that's the difference. So selling is as I said, is a inside out approach. You try to push your products through attracting the customer in various ways. Marketing is more sustainable approach where you understand the customer and design and develop products that will meet the customer requirement, satisfy the customer in a more sustainable way. So selling may be a more short-term concept. Selling is more one-way concept than marketing. The marketing is a more broader, sustainable approach. I hope you understand the difference between. So selling is focused on the seller or the manufacturer or the supplier in that case, and marketing is where you have a focus on the customer, and through customer satisfaction, you do a sustainable business going forward. Okay. Hello. Okay. You're with me.
Yes, sir.
All right. Right. Then I will. What is price and value equation and its relevance to customer satisfaction? Price and value. The price, as a customer. Now look at put yourself in a customer perspective. When a customer as a customer. Now, when you want to buy something, say you want to buy a say laptop or a phone, cellular phone. So then you have to buy it. You have to buy at a price, and in return you expect value. So as a customer, if you feel, right, that is the feeling. You're talking about the perception. Perception is a feeling. So if you, after you bought a particular, say, cell phone, say you buy it for 100,000, right? And you buy it, you say, so you have paid a price of 100,000, expecting some value more than that, definitely. So always you expect what the price that you offer will bring you value more than that price. So if you feel you have got more value than what you have paid, what will happen? Then you will be happy, isn't it? So you have realized, you have felt, I have got more value for the price I have paid, right? Or at least I have got value for money. මම ලක්ෂයක් දුන්නා, මට දැන් අම්බෙලා තියෙන ෆෝන් එක මං හිතනවා ලක්ෂයක් වටිනවා. But I may be not very happy, but okay, it's value for money. At the same time, you have paid 1 lakh, and after a few days you find the phone is getting stuck and there are some issues, and expected features are not to that standard. What will happen? Then you feel the value you have got is less than the price you have paid. Then what happens is you will be unhappy or dissatisfied. So that is what is called the price and value equation. So price is less than value that you have obtained, then you are satisfied customer. Price is equal to value, it's a value for money, you are okay, you are not unhappy, you are not very happy also. But if you feel the value you have got is less than the price that you have paid, definitely you have. So this is common for any customer. So our customers expect value in two perspectives. One is the financial value, and the other thing is the emotional content, emotional value. Now, especially when you give a banking service, right? There's a lot of emotional concept coming in. It's called non-financial benefit. How do you improve emotional value to the customer? That is by talking to customer well and giving customer the respect that they deserve, right? Being nice to customers always. You don't have to be rude to customer at all. Anyway, even you say no, you can do that in a very nice way, in a manner customer doesn't get disappointed or disheartened. That's what's called emotional value. When a customer comes to the counter, whether you smile at the customer, whether you talk to the customer, give little time for the customer, all that is emotional. Of course, customer must be getting sometimes the financial value, but he might be very unhappy about the emotional, non-financial value that we have given to them. Isn't it? So, more than sometimes it's more than the price that you offer in terms of financial terms, but also the emotional value that you give, the feeling that you give is very very sustainable, right? So this is something that we have to understand. In order to satisfy our customers, we have to think of both creation of both values, financial value, non-financial. Most of the time we think, okay, if the customer is getting the loan on time at a low rate, we think, okay, he should be happy. But you can package that facility in such a way that during the discussions, during the whole process, you be very nice to customer and helpful to the customer to resolve any issues that the customer come across during the process of obtaining the facility, right? So all that you can do, right? And sometimes customers, some companies do customer offer value beyond customer expectation. You know, when a customer come to a bank, they expect certain amount of, they have certain amount of expectations. This company, this bank people will be nice to me. They will talk to me and explain to me the transaction that I am going to go through. They come with some expectations. Always remember that everyone has expectation. But if they feel that we are not meeting that expectation to the level that they have expected, what will happen is they become unhappy. But in some organizations, it can be the other way as well. They sometimes the customers feel they are being satisfied beyond expected level. Maybe small things that we do can go a long way. Little smile will do, little attention will do, little 1 or 2 minutes to explain the customer about the thing in nice way will do, you know. So these are things that we don't realize, because remember, we are dealing with human beings, not with machines. So every customer that is coming in is coming into your branch or dealing with you, maybe over the phone or online or whatever. They are human beings, so you have to respect that. So they have emotions. So today marketing is about emotion management. Otherwise, customers become very unhappy because you are not understood that emotional content that has to be satisfied, the emotional satisfaction, right? So, you know, some companies try to do that always. Now, even some companies motto is that, you know, Selinco, this is Selinco's tagline is what? Exceeding expectations. What does it mean? Apekshavan ikmava. Apekshavan is expectations. Ikmava means exceeding. So Selinco says we satisfy customer beyond expectation. We satisfy customer apekshavan ikmava. That may be one reason Selinco is doing so well in the industry. Selinco, especially Selinco insurance, is on the top because they have that. They have inculcated that concept or that approach or that value across the organization. And I had a experience where a little thing one company did really helped to exceed even my expectation and my impression about that company. So I will tell you the story. Hello? Hello, you hear me?
Yes.
Right. So, you know, one day this happened about, this actually I'm talking about a hospital, right? Not a bank. This happened about, I think more than 10-15 years before, when Apollo Hospital was owned by Indians. You know, Apollo Hospital, now Sri Lanka Hospital, you know, government thing. Earlier it came as a private Indian hospital. So I had a chance to go to that hospital about 1 or 2 years after they came into the country, and to collect a medical report one day, right? So I went to Apollo medical counter, that the report collection counter, and there was a girl, and she said, so report is ready, give me 2 minutes till I uh, pack it and give. You can be seated there. And she showed me a passage where some chairs were kept, some few customers also seated there. So I also went and seated. It was about 2:30, 3 in the afternoon, after during lunchtime, or just after a few hours, 1 hour after lunch, I went there. And then I was seated there. Then 1 or 2 minutes went by. I was looking at something, and then suddenly I saw hospital attendant. They were pushing a cart with some coffee, tea, and all that, and going through that passage. And then I was looking on the other side, and suddenly one girl attendant came and offered me a plastic cup of tea, cup of coffee. Right. Then I looked at her. I said, "Sorry, miss, I am not a patient. I am a customer." Then she said, laughingly, "No, no, sir, it's for you." I could imagine that, because now I didn't know that Apollo is offering coffee and tea to visitors during that tea time. The first time, my expectations were, it was beyond my expectation. There were few customers, and all the customers, they gave who had come to collect reports, Nescafe, right? So, what are they doing there? So they are they have thought of that little thing. During the tea time, there are some customers will be waiting there for hours and hours. Or I, of course, just went in and just to collect a report, but how thoughtfully they have done that. So after here, they are giving visitors tea or coffee at their whatever they like. In the morning session, tea time, like we offer have tea in our office, 10 o'clock also, and also 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Amount of value they create out of this little thing that they do is enormous. So maybe, of course, a lot of customers during that time maybe wanting to have a cup of tea, right? And that time, I think they didn't have a canteen or something also. After that, only these canteens and Apollo canteen and all that started. And so that is where the Apollo is going beyond the expectation. Going beyond the expectation. So, and then I was really interested about this Apollo hospital customer service. I mean, they were that time all were Indian girls and Indian doctors, and they are talking to customers, patients very politely, and giving them enough time, giving time to ask questions, explain, offering various booklets like tips to the patients, and lot of little things. They are not spending millions for that. Maybe Nescafe coffee may be costing cents for them, but see the amount of value they create in the minds of the customers. Whereas other hospitals, they are chasing the visitors during that time, when there's a visitor time. After that, if they are not moving, security guards will come and especially government hospital, the amount of treatment government hospital give to the customer and the amount of the treatment that they give to customers in the Apollo hospital. So so Apollo therefore was that time focusing customer service very much, superior customer service. There Apollo stands for that time, that I saw in one of the they had framed those that statement in those are displayed in the wall. Apollo stand for a people oriented, life saving, life enhancing organization. That's what Apollo stands for. Apollo stands for life saving, a people oriented, life saving, life enhancing organization. It's beyond hospital. It's not only treating patients, but it will enhance the life of people. So that's what Apollo is about. Actually, after that, I became very interested about Apollo customer service and read. There are books written on Apollo hospital customer service. There are some Indian books. So there are a lot of things given, instructions given to staff as to how they should treat a customer. Even Apollo, I came to know lately, even the doctors have been asked to give every patient a time, at least 5 to 10 minutes, and ask questions and clarify whatever things they want to clear. That is where you provide a service, provide value beyond expectation. A little thing that you do as a bank can go a long way. So that is the beauty of exceeding expectation, and that will help you to customer delight. So Apollo is creating delight in the mind of the customers with regard to their behavior. So that's it. So we have taken about hour or so. Shall we take a break? Hello?
Okay, sir.
Right. Now time is 2:55. So we'll meet at between 10 to 15 minutes, right? Okay.
Okay.
Right. Thank you. So what was the last question? I use relevance to customer satisfaction, right? Then question number 7. You can see the question, no? Can you see the question?
Yes.
Hello? Yeah. We can see, no? Yes or no?
Yes.
Right. Explain customer lifetime value concept for bank customers. I think I have explained that to you already. You know, we have to, as bankers, we have to be mindful about this concept, right? You have to make all our customers, all our good customers, a lifetime customers. You know, it's not easy to keep a customer lifetime. So in order to do that, we have to understand the customer requirements, his likes and dislikes, and maybe customer is continuously customer is also customer requirements also may be changing because his life is as he also will over the years change his requirements, and then we should be able to, as bankers, understand that changing needs of the customers. So it's not easy to retain a customer a lifetime unless you really keen to do it, right? So let me share with you a document. Type of customers. Hello, can you see this? Can you see this slide? Hello?
No, sir. On the same question is remaining.
Remaining, right? Okay. Okay, 1 second. Right. Can you see? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Motivating the 8 buyer types. Can see? Hello.
Yes.
Right. Now let's look at some buyer types. You know, this type of buyers are basically our customers, right? customers. Now, how to motivate our customers? Maybe understanding this type of buyers will help us to keep these customers lifetime, right? So there are various type of buyers. There are 8 type of buyers. Of course, there are these not theory. These are some of the research based on some research done by some people. So they say there are different type of buyers. There are price buyers, wow buyers, trust buyers, convenience buyers, status buyers, expert buyers, caring buyers, entertainment buyers. Now our customers, our customer base can be. I will share this with you after this. I have not shared this in your document. There are 8 type of customers. Some, and they want different. They expect different things from their suppliers. You understand? So let's see one. So first on the price buyers. So what is the expectation of a price buyer? So designate a markdown section in your shop. Offer weekly or monthly promotional items. Advertise your sales directly to them. So there are now, even our bank customers, there are customers who are very price sensitive. So they may be needing to get the best interest for highest interest for deposits, less commission for their LC and maybe bank guarantee and various other services, and also low rates for the loans they apply. So they are price sensitive customers, right? What do we do? So so wherever possible, we have to understand that they since they are very concerned about the cost, whether we can look at that carefully and tactfully to satisfy their requirement. You may be not able to give everything all the time, but you be mindful about there are type of buyers who are very price sensitive. And then next type of buyers, motivating or wow buyers, right? What do they need? Featuring your newest merchandise in both your displays and advertising, building a reputation and a brand as the place to go for the unusual, making sure that you start telling something, offering something new before new hot merchandise or services carried by all the other shops. Because wow factor is something that you create through what we discuss beyond expectation, and making the customer delight. Say for example, sometimes I saw in an article one customer making customers expectations or exceeding customer expectation. One bank manager did one thing. What he did was, he has said after 3 o'clock your bank doors are closed, right? For example, right? Your bank doors are closed, and then however there are customers inside by that time. See, there are people who have come to deposit money, deposit checks, cash checks, and various things. So when the bank is closed at 3 o'clock, and these customers, that particular branch manager has done is offer them some tea and snacks during that period or that time. By 3 o'clock, customers may be also a little bit of starving, right? Maybe before lunch, right? Or some may have had lunch still. So this particular branch manager has done is he has arranged tea for customers who are inside the premises after once the bank is closed. This is something that you can do because the customers may not be expecting this kind of treatment. So that will create wow in their minds. And also with regard to various new products, new changes that you have done in your maybe digital platforms or any other breakthrough product that you have introduced, you can always immediately explain to these customers. They might like that type of quick or immediate making them wow or surprising them and offering something beyond their expectation. Right? Then there are some customers who are trust buyers. Banking service is anyway trustworthy business. Bankers will have to be trustworthy, right? And locate your shop in a good neighborhood. Ensure all contact information is on your website. Include testimonials on your website. Implement a generous refund. So these may not be relevant exactly to the bank, but how do you ensure that these trust buyers are motivated? You have to maintain your behavior in such a way that the customers don't think that you are not trustable. The employees' honesty is a key thing. Employees' honesty and the credibility of the organization will help motivating the trust buyers, the convenience buyers. Some customers they don't want to go through hassle, right? So place merchandise that goes together with the same area, have adequate and clear signage, establish a convenient location, develop your policies, procedures, plus promises with customer convenience in mind. So always be mindful about creating convenience to the customer. Even you open an account, cashing a check, or obtaining a facility, wherever possible, you maintain or create convenience to the customer. That way you can keep and motivate convenience buyers. Motivating status buyers. Some customers want to maintain their status because they address by name, establish a preferred customer list, develop a special relationship with them so that you can tailor your recommendation services to them personally. In any bank there are say top 20. Say if you look at your top customers, top 20 lending customers, top 20 deposit customers. These customers are very important. Thank you. So they are looking at the status. There are some customers you would have experienced. They like to be respected. Now things like when your staff address them by name, saying Mr. So and so, Mr. Fernando, Mr. Karnaratna, Mr. Nonis, like that, you customer feel respected, right? So it's very good to, especially in branches, at least everyone at the branch should be knowing the at least top 25 customers in the branch in terms of value they bring to the company. So there may be very large customers in a branch who are contributing to maybe 5-10% of the entire branch income. There are depositors who have millions and millions of savings deposits. Are we giving them the sufficient respect that they expect? Right? So that's what I'm talking here. So customers who want the respect, you have to give them that respect. Otherwise, they will be unhappy. Right? Then motivating expert bias. So expert bias, do what you do better than anybody else. Know what is going on in your industry. Establish yourself as a source of information. So that is now your expertise. Your expertise will be expected by the customers. They will come and get your advice. They will take your advice very serious. You know, some customers I have seen, they come and ask, "Mahatya mama me alut business ya patan ganne anne. Me deval mahatya amko hitanne." Right? Emnatta mata loan එක ගන්න ඕන මම මේක කොහමද හරියටම මේක ස්ට්‍රක්චර් කරගන්න. Right? එහෙම නැත්නම් මනාර මම ඉම්පෝට් කරන්න යනවා මට මේකට මම මොකද්ද මට දෙන ඇඩ්වයිස් එක මේක හරියට කරගන්න. You know, so they will come and ask you because they will have a high regard for you. They treat you as an expert in the industry. So so then you must play that. I mean, you play that role by creating a good impression about yourself in the eyes of the customer. So they look forward to you all the time as an expert whom they can rely on your advice. So your advisory capacity is a great thing for them, right? So be mindful about that. So then motivating caring bias. You know, there are become a member of a professional association within your industry. Establish program that gives back to your community. Sponsor select the charity. Demonstrate that you care about your business image, customer relations, and overall excellence by being selective in your choice of employee. So you know what is caring, because there are some people who expect you to care others. Is some thing to do with little things to do with something to doing something to the society, right? So giving back your how much you care the community, and whether you support some charities in the vicinity, right? Demonstrate that you care about your business image. The image for a bank is very, very crucial. You as a bank, as a custodian of others' money, the image is very, very crucial, right? So if you have a high image, higher the image is better for the bank, because then only the customer will respect your organization, right? Entertainment bias. I don't know whether we can entertain our customers in a bank, but the wherever possible, some customers, they expect some sort of entertainment also. So create your bank fun place, motivating place for your customers, right? So that is the entertainment bias. Customers buy because they are depressed, or because they are happy, or maybe because they just want something different. The most successful shop is the one that makes customers feel good about doing business with them. If you are looking for logic, retail business is not the place to find it. Today, customers don't buy things because they need them. They buy things because they crave them. So so this particular document is maybe not directly relevant to our bank, but few things like we also find this kind of customers, like customers who respect us because we care the community. Customers expect us to be experts in our industry. Customers expect status as individuals. Customers want convenience when they do banking transactions with us. Customers expect we are to be trustworthy. They expect we to be honest and trustworthy. And wherever possible, we to make our customers delight and understand. Some customers are price sensitive. So some customers, not all customers, some customers who want, those are the customers who look at financial benefit all the time, financial value all the time. They might not bother about the other things. If they get the best interest, best package, they are happy. So it's a combination of financial benefit, financial value, and non-financial benefit that we offer to the customer. So those value that we offer will help us to keep the customer with us lifetime. So that is the learning out of this document. Okay, let's get back to hello. Can you all see the questions? Hello? Hello?
No, sir.
You can't see?
Yeah, can't see.
Can't see, no? Now, okay? Hello?
Yes.
Right, good, thank you. So I hope you have some idea about about the answer for question number 7. Explain customer lifetime value concept for banking customers. So there are customers who are price sensitive, who need status. They expect status, respect from us. They also want us to be experts. They want us to be trustworthy, right? And they want us to create wow factor for them, and they want us to create fun. And bank is a convenience place to do transactions. So all these things you have to be mindful, right? And describe question number 8. Describe 5 steps in marketing management process. So can someone tell me, we discuss about this in repeated times. What are the steps involved in the marketing management process? Starting with what? So I said our subject is revolving around these steps. Subject of marketing management, right? So what are the steps? Can someone tell?
Analysis,
Right.
objectives,
Okay.
strategies,
Mm-hmm.
implement,
Right.
control.
Right. Very good. So these are the steps. Situation analysis, setting objectives, formulating strategies, executing the strategies, that is implementation, then finally reviewing and controlling regularly, right? And also to make these steps more memorable or to easily remember, we discussed about 5 questions for each stage. Remember that those five questions that we asked. What is the first question that we asked about the organization? To explain the analysis, situational analysis. What is the question that we asked?
Where are we right now?
Exactly. Where are we now? Where are we now? Right. Then second one, objectives.
Where do we want to be?
Where do you want to be? Superb. So that is the second question. Where are we now? And where do you want to be? Right. Then next question.
Which way is better to execute?
Exactly. Superb. Which way is the best way to get there? Right. Okay. Then next question. Next question.
How do we get there?
Right. Actually, how do we get there is the third question. The fourth question is the which way is the best,
Best.
because there can be various ways to get there. But as you said, okay, first question is where are we now? Secondly, where do you want to be?
Which way is
That's right. Then how do we get there? Then which way is the best? Then finally,
Ensuring
how
arrive.
do we
how do we
ensure right?
arrival? Exactly. Brilliant. So that is those are the 5 questions. So you will not forget these questions anyhow. So it's in a logical remember it in a logical way. First you ask where are we now as an organization? In which position are we? Say you are, say, Bank of Ceylon, say Nugegoda branch, for example. Where are we now in terms of our strengths? You remember we did a SWOT analysis, no, right? Where are we now in terms of strengths and our weaknesses, right? Strengths include everything that you can, any question you can ask under strength. Strength is something that you have beyond your competition. More than you are good in certain aspect, you are better than the competition. Weaknesses are again internal things that there can be you are weak in certain things, whereas your competition is stronger than you, right? And also you ask the question of opportunities and threats that you come across, right? Okay, so then you ask the question, where do you want to be? Then if you are, say, Nugegoda HNB, Nugegoda Bank of Ceylon is the number 3 in the locality in terms of in market share. So we want to be the number 1 within next 2 years. So that can be your broader objective. Where do you want to be? Then how do we achieve that? Third question. What are the bigger, broader strategies to get there? Right? Understand? So that so once after you analyze your marketing environment and your in terms of your SWOT framework, your PESTEL framework, you also did your 5 forces analysis. So with all that, what did you do? And you did your competitor analysis. And so that is to understand your current position, right? Then your strategies, then your actions, implementation, that we'll discuss later on. And then finally, to make sure, periodically assess and make sure whether you are in the right direction in terms of achieving the desired results, right? Okay, so then so those are the 5 steps in the marketing management process. So then question number 9, this is something that we I may have not included in the TOD. You know, what are the risks in buying goods and services? I will give a note on that next week or so. You know, when you buy a particular product, what are the risks? What are the perceived risks? You know, perceived risks are the risks that you feel before purchase. Now, for example, because the perceived risk means your fear of buying the particular product because of a certain reason. Now, for example, now you want to you go to a textile shop. Say, for example, you go to No Limit to buy a dress, right? Say a boy goes to buy a T-shirt from, for example, from No Limit shop. Then when you go and see T-shirts, Okay, so then you have sizes, maybe large, extra large, small, and so on. But will you go and just buy it, or do you do a fit on and buy? Even the size is known to you, maybe sometimes if you are first time buying a particular brand, you will do a fit on, right? Fit on and check whether it's suitable. You know why? Because if you don't without fit on, you don't buy a trouser or a shirt or a gown or anything, blouse or anything when we buy, because we have a fear, if we don't wear the correct size and correct design, others will laugh at us. It's called something called social fear, right? Social fear. So social fear is called a social risk, right? And with the social fear, there's another fear that comes in. So when you, especially when you want to buy a stuff, if the particular stuff is not a quality one, you will have an ego fear as well, because sometimes you might think others will laugh and think that I am wearing a low quality dress. So that is called ego fear. It's called ego risk. So social fear and ego risk. So because of this social fear and ego risk, we always try to minimize it by buying a proper dress suitable for our body, as well as we try to buy a good, you like to buy a brand because to satisfy your ego. You know, so this happens especially in our buying situations. It's a very practical way of looking at it. So even look at, so when you want to buy a cellular phone, you will have a lot of social fear and ego risk. Why? Because you buy phone and you want others to see it, and by that also you enjoy that, because sometimes when you can't just buy anything that you want, and then others also looking at it, so you always try to buy a branded product, because that inner ego that works within you. So we have to understand that as the bankers now, especially, I mean, these dresses and electronic goods are more tangible products, but but in general, when people buy, they have this social and ego fear. So that's why some customers, they like to deal with highly respected banks, or some customers like to deal with foreign banks. Why? There's a ego kind of satisfaction they want to fulfill. Right? They don't want to deal with small banks. It's not on their list. Right? Right. So then also when you buy, there are other risks like that you perceive. What is other risk? It is called performance risk. Now, for example, when you buy a cell phone, will you go and just buy a cell phone that is in the market, or will you buy a brand? Because you go for a brand, because there's a performance risk, because you think if you don't buy a brand and a well-known product, you might lose money by buying it, and after a few days it might not work. So performance risk also something that customers will pursue before buying any product, even a car. It can be electronic item or any especially physical item that you buy. You look at the performance of that product. And another risk that you will go through or pursue is the financial risk. You know, especially when you buy high value products, say when you're buying a house, when you're buying a vehicle, these are high value products. Then you don't just buy, no, you do a lot of evaluation before buying. You evaluate several options very carefully before buying, isn't it? Don't you? So there's a financial risk that you have. That's why again a lot of customers go and like to buy well-known brands. When it comes to vehicles, that's why a lot of people like to buy Toyota or Honda today, because that financial risk is very much low in case of those products. And final perceived risk that we go through or pursue is the time risk. Now, whether we have to devote a lot of time before buying a particular product. That means you have to devote a lot of time searching the correct option or selecting the correct option. So, you know, to minimize all these risks, one good solution is for you to build a reliable brand. Then customers will not pursue most of those risks that they will pursue. Now, for example, now that is why Toyota, Honda, they have built the brand in such a way that anybody who wants to buy a car, they will prefer buying these well-known Japanese vehicles because the perceived risks are minimal in those cases. Now, it come to other goods like textile or ready-made garments. So there are certain brand suppliers or branded, like either some people go to Hamidia's, some people go to Odell. There are well-known brands they buy because they don't have this risk, perceived risks. They are minimized. You just go and buy because the brand is a tested one, brand is reliable, and you will not encounter any financial risk, no social risk, no ego risk, no physical risk, and so on, no time risk. So take down somewhere in your note. There are 5 types of perceived risks that a customer will pursue during the buying process. First one, the financial risk, then the ego risk, then the social risk, then the performance risk, then the time risk. To minimize all these risks, brand is the most acceptable solution. So if your bank is a well-known brand, people will definitely come because their perceived risk is very much less because you have been tested years and years as a respectable, dependable brand. So building a brand is very much needed because customers will come merely because of your brand is very strong. So you become a top of mind brand. What do you mean by? So to become the top of mind brand in a particular industry. top of mind brand is a brand that will come to the mind of the customer instantly. It is on the top. Say, for example, if a customer wants to buy today a color television, say 70 inches television, what brand comes to his mind first? Can you tell? Can someone tell? If you want to buy a 70 inches LED television, what brand comes to your mind first? What do you
Samsung.
prefer? Hello?
Samsung.
Samsung, right. Okay. So another person might say Sony or Samsung. Those are the top of mind brand. That's called top of mind recall. Okay, because you recall it immediately, right? If you want to buy a cellular phone, what brand comes to your mind first? There may be one or two brands. Apple, iPhone, right? See? So most of you all, everyone who's listening now might tell it's either Apple or maybe Samsung. They are on the top, right? So if you want to buy a laptop, is there a strong brand in your mind? Hello?
Dell.
Okay. Dell, yes. Dell, Apple, Mac again, right? So, this is how it goes, right? Now, everyone will agree for many products that you buy, there are top of mind brands, right? But if you ask some customers, they want to open a savings account for their children or child. What comes to their mind as number one? It may not be. So some customers might say it's Bank of Ceylon. Another set of customers might say it's People's Bank. Another set of customers NSB. Another set of might HNB. Another set say commercial. Another set will Ceylon. Another set will say NDB. There will be mix of banks that will be preferred. Don't you agree? Because that is why, because we have not built very strong brands like Sony, Apple, Samsung, Nokia, and Gillette, and so on. So these are well known now. If you know, when you want to buy a razor, there are many razors in the market, but you will top of mind brand would be the Gillette, right? So so that's it. So there are no other brands will come very late. Is number 3, 4, 5. So number one is always there's a strong brand which give you top of mind recall. So you are clear on that? So you have to be a top of mind brand to make sure that customers will buy your product or service without having any perceived risks. That I told you. What are the perceived risks? The performance risk, financial risk, ego risk, social risk, and the time risk. Remember these risks very, it may be appropriate for bankers also, but that in common way it will be applicable for any purchase that you make as a customer. Right. Question number 10. What is marketing environment? Describe key components in it. So can you remember the two components in the marketing environment we discussed? Can anyone support?
Macro and micro.
Macro and micro, very good. Macro is the broader environment. Macro is the broader environment that is there. So macro environment include what factors broadly? What are the factors? Pestle, exactly. Very good. Pestle factors are the factors that that combines or that explain the macro environment, the political factors that will influence our business, economic factors, that economic forces that influence our business, then the social, technical or technological, ecological and legal factors. Some factors are connected and they all influence our way of doing business. Then what are the micro components, micro environment? We discussed that. What factors are there in the micro environment? Macro, you are correct, pestle, mainly pestle factor. What are the micro environmental factors?
Thought.
Hmm?
Thought analysis.
Come again?
Thought. Strength. Traits, opportunities and weaknesses.
I can't hear you.
Thought. Strength, traits, opportunities and weaknesses.
Right. My
What
your answer
is
is
5 forces?
exactly 5 forces. Because you know micro factors are the factors immediately around you. Now, who are day-to-day basis you are interacting with these factors? Who are those? The competitors, the customers, right? Other the suppliers, the buyers, right? You know, 5 forces model talks about micro factors. They are immediately around us. You know, macro environment is broadly around you, but they are not. We are not interacting with them everyday basis. But with your customers, with your competitors, with your suppliers, your agents, your buyers, your supplier, those are the forces that are interacting with you on a daily basis. So the 5 forces model describe the impact they can make to your business. Now, first you are in the banking industry, you have immediate existing competition. There are 25 banks, there are 40-50 finance companies, there are specialized banks, there are leasing companies, there are private pawners, there are money changers, there are money lenders, private money lenders, there are unregistered lenders, there are microfinance companies. So these are they are substitutes as well as your rival players. And day-to-day basis, you are dealing with your depositors. They are called the supply of money. Daily basis, you are dealing with your customers who are borrowing from you, the loan customers. Right? And so under micro environment, you analyze your 5 forces, and also you will look at your product and the competitor product. So you do various type of analysis to understand your product. So so marketing environment, when you analyze the marketing environment, you broadly analyze two environment. One is macro environment, that is pestle factors. Then the micro environment, 5 forces, which plus the products, competition, and so on. So so these are the 5 forces that you. These are the various factors that you analyze in your market environment analysis. Okay. So next two questions are connected to what we already discussed. Pestle factors are used to analyze and assess influences from macro environment, and briefly explain these factors. Pestle factors, as said, political factors are mainly with the government changes. These things can change because with the political policies of the government, your economic policies may change, your fiscal policies may change, monetary policies may change, your legal framework may change, and the customer behavior, customer attitudes, all are included in social factors studies. Right? Social factors include those things: changing needs of customers, changing behaviors of customer needs, customer attitudes, customer groups, customer social influences, social groups. Because there are, when you do certain things, there can be social groups which are opposing your actions. Now whatever in the recent past, there's a huge debate is going on with regard to what, that western portion of the port, right, is being they're trying to privatize it, or 49% is being given to trying to be given to India. So how many social groups started opposing it. So these are the factors that can, because ultimately what happened, because the social threat, social influences, social group influence, like Buddhist monks were talking against it, some parties talking against it, some groups, some unions. So these are called social groups pressure, social factors. So when there are certain decisions highly criticized and opposed by social groups, that influence can definitely impact your decisions. Right? And technological changes are taking place in a technical advancements are taking place in a rapid speed, a very high speed. Even our technology is replaced every year. These are the things that we need to be mindful about. New technical advancement or technology advancement and their impact on the business models that we are in. And legal framework is mostly legal and ecology. You know, we went in to discuss these ecological factors, planet related, and legal. You know, various maybe various laws that can have influence on your business decisions. Those are the things that that we might have to consider when looking at the environmental analysis. Then what are the 5 forces affecting business according to Porter, and identify these factors. Right. Can someone tell me what are the 5 forces? Can you all name those factors? Starting from what are the 5 factors or 5 forces according to Michael Porter? I need your answer, someone.
Rivalry among existing competitors.
Right.
Threat
Very
of
good.
new entrants.
Very good.
Bargaining power of suppliers.
Okay.
Bargaining power of buyers.
Right.
Substitute products.
Right. Very good. Excellent. So those are the 5 forces. Now, rivalry among existing firms that I explained, because already we are in competition with immediately with our banks, around 25 commercial banks in the industry, and having thousands of branches around, and it's very tough. And so we have to be mindful about that competition. Then day by day, now bargaining power of suppliers. Now today, what has happened to our deposits? Are the customers keeping keeping their deposits with us, or are they going out?
Going out.
Huh?
Going out.
Yeah,
Going
mostly going out. Why? Because the banking interest rates are no more attractive, right? So that is why these people sometimes they won't renew at the renewal time. They go and deposit elsewhere, or in a private place, or with another fund manager, or some insurance arrangement, or any other investment model they will use, either real estate, stock market, and so on. So therefore, how to keep the deposits is a real challenge for us. So that is what is called bargaining power of suppliers, because suppliers will definitely have other options, because they when they are not happy with what they are getting in return, and they seek their other options. And we as bankers, we don't have liberty to offer the rates that we want to offer, because rates are regulated by the central bank. Then bargaining power of buyers. What is that? Bargaining power of buyers. Now, how that has impacted our banking business today? 5 forces out of 5 forces, bargaining power of buyers. Because today customers are very customers become very powerful, because you may have come across all the customers come and ask loans at very low rates, 4%, 7%, 6%. And if we don't give, they will go and complain to central bank or the government, or through other social groups, they will influence us. You know, it's not, it's become really complicated, because they don't want to pay high rates, and everyone wants loans at the lowest fixed rates they expect. And if even they if they don't get, they might opt to some other methods of getting it, some other. So threat of new entrants is very much less in an environment like this. New entrants will not come into banking, but there can be more than the new entrants. There can be consolidation. So new few finance companies might get together. There will be mergers, and but very unlikely new bank branches or new banks are coming into the industry. Substitutes. In today's context, substitutes can be also be a threat, because there are finance companies, there are private owners, private money lenders who are also offering similar services to the banking services. Right. So those are the factors that the forces that that are in the five forces model, right? Identify competitive strategies suggested by Porter. So what are the five forces that Porter suggested? Hello. Can someone remember? What are the three strategies? Identify competitive strategies suggested by Porter. The Porter said a company have three options. Three options they will have to use if they want to be competitive in the industry. So what are the so you have the note in that. So what are the, if you can remember, what are the competitive strategies suggested by Porter or Michael Porter? We discussed about three strategies.
Cost leadership and differentiation.
Right. And other one?
Integration
Yeah.
between differentiation and cost leadership.
Right. Some other? That is, actually there are five. You are right. Actually, there were five strategies, but broadly there are three: cost leadership, differentiation, and First are the focus, right? The focus approach. So the Porter said there are so you have to look at whether you are in a broader market or narrow market. One aspect, the scope, broad and narrow, right? And the other option is whether you are going to specialize in your product or you use common products. The differentiation is no differentiation, no, there is differentiation, right? So so what he said was, okay, you can as a company be a cost leader. Cost leader means you are operating in a broader environment and offering the customer the lowest cost. He said large companies can do this because they have the advantage of economies of scale. When you buy in large quantities, you can always demand a lesser price. Now, take example of take Food City in Sri Lanka, Food City of Keels. They can sell products or the vegetables or various other things that they buy direct from farmers at a low price because they buy large quantities, buy in large quantities and bulk. But the other small time retail shops may not have that advantage because they have to go through a middleman, right? Middleman, and since they buy small quantities, their prices tend to be high. So when you are a large player, you can your purchases become the unit cost become cheap than average medium size player, because that is what is called economies of scale advantage. Because you are in a strong position to demand suppliers and get a low price. You have a control over the suppliers. Now, Cargills and Keels, there are outgrowers who, through buyback arrangements, they grow to sell to Keels or Food City. They grow vegetables, fruits, and various other things to supply to these large retailers. And not only vegetables and fruits, even other essence manufacturers, essence producers, everyone is bound to offer a low price to large players like Keels and Food City in Sri Lanka, because they buy in big volumes and bulk. You understand? The differentiation is what? The differentiation is where you you don't go by the the same product. Then you have differentiated your product range in such a way that different needs of customer is met from different offers that you have. For example, take milk powder industry in Sri Lanka. It's an example for differentiated approach. But they are, and also they are playing in a bigger, broader market. It's called differentiation approach. Now, if you take milk powder, the Fonterra brand, they are the market leader in Sri Lanka, right? For example, right? Fonterra, but they offer various differentiated products to different customers. So, what are the now? If you are to identify or find out what are the different brands they offer to different customers. Can someone tell? Fonterra has 5, 6, 7, 8 offers differentiated products to milk powder users. So what are their products?
Anchor.
Yeah, Anchor what? How many brands? Anchor. Now, if you take, okay, Anchor is the brand name, right? Now it's under Fonterra Group company. Anchor is the brand name. Good, thank you. So when you okay, I don't know whether you go and buy Anchor. So when you buy Anchor, what do you buy? Anchor what? Anchor full cream or Anchor shape up? Huh? You buy Anchor full cream or shape up? Huh?
Full cream.
Full cream. So it's a fat based one. The Anchor has non-fat one for people who are health conscious, figure conscious. Non-fat is what? Anchor shape up. So people who are who want full cream in general purpose, okay, Anchor full cream. Good. So your household may be buying Anchor full cream, and some customers buy Anchor non-fat version called shape up. But remember the price, there's a price difference. The shape up, the non-fat variety is expensive than Anchor full cream brand, right? Then and they have another, generally Anchor full cream is a bit expensive, and they have another brand called Ratti, which is a bit low price. That is to compete with Lux Spray, you know. So they have now full cream, Anchor full cream pack. Then they have non-fat pack. Then Ratti is Anchor little lower price edition. Again for it's a full cream for people who don't want to buy maybe price difference about 10-15 rupees a kilo, or even I don't know, maybe XL, but little difference, little lower compared to Anchor full cream, right? Then also they have another differentiated product for pregnant mothers. What is that? And pregnant mothers, there's a product, Anchor. You go and ask from the what do you call, from the supermarket, they will tell you. It's called N mum. N mum. A anchor MOM and mum, right? So that's for so another differential product for pregnant mothers, and right, and they have another product for elderly people who have calcium deficiencies. What is that called?
Aniline.
Aniline. Aniline. So older people like us will go for aniline because it's a calcium-rich milk powder. Aniline, right? Okay. Then they have products for children. What are those?
Pedia Pro.
Pedia Pro, exactly. And 1 plus, yeah, 1 plus, 2 plus like that, no? 3 plus, you know, for children. And you see how many there are, I think 6, 7, 8 milk powder varieties. So they should have gone, they should have just gone and done full cream and sell to the entire population Sri Lanka. Their market share is about maybe anchor market share is about 60% of the Sri Lankan milk powder market. They are the market leader. So they have aniline, they have Anmum, they have full cream, they have shape up, they have Pedia Pro anchor, they have 1 plus, 2 plus, 3 plus that series. And I think they have another malt, malted to compete with Nestamalt. There's a malt, I can't remember that name. They have malt product also. Right? And they have now gone into even the dairy products. There are a variety of, if you look at yogurt, there are different flavors. Milk, liquid milk, different flavors. So there's a huge range of about 60, 70 products or brands in there under their umbrella. So this is called differentiation, and they are offering different products to a broader market. Right? And then comes the focus approach. You know, focus approach is where the market size is narrow, the scope is narrow. Now, if you take, you know, the cars like Rolls-Royce, you think how many cars they make for a year? Compared to Toyota, maybe Toyota make maybe 5-6 million cars a year, more than that. I exactly don't know, but Rolls-Royce maybe hundreds, not even 100, 200 cars for a year. But they're high premium, like Austin, Aston Martin, right? And you know, various high price $1 million cars. They are operating in a cost focus approach. Cost focus. They are in a cost wise they are very high, but market is a smaller. Cost focus. Right? Rolex is a high cost, but narrow market. They are operating. Right? Rolex watches, right? Because there are certain perfumes which are very expensive, and there are certain different electronic items, limited, narrow market, but very highly expensive product. And then comes differentiation focus. Right? Differentiation focus is what? Differentiation focus is again your your you offer differentiated products and still in a narrow market. Right? You don't play in a large market, and you don't but you have a range of products, like some watchmakers, like maybe different brands. You know, there are brands I can't remember. Though they are expensive, and but offer a range of like if you take Fossil is a brand. They have various children type design watches, large range, but in a smaller narrow market. But if you take Citizen or Timex, they are more for cost leaders, and they are in a huge market world over. So different companies can have different approaches, but according to Porter, what he said was, whatever strategy that you use, you will have to be competitive. As long as you are competitive, you can maintain your competitiveness, you have got your strategy correct. But he has given some clues. Either you can use cost leader, you can become a cost leader, or differentiator, or differentiation focus. That's where you work in a smaller market, narrow market, and cost focus. Again, you have a high cost, but in a smaller market, a narrow market. So those are the competitive strategies suggested by Porter. So next comes question number 14. What are the stages in the PLC? What are the characteristics of products in each stage? So can someone tell me what are the have we done the product life cycle? By the way, I think we did. Are we? Hello?
Yes.
We did, I hope, no? Yes. So what are the stages in the life cycle? Product life cycle, yes. Now, like I said, like human beings' life cycle, a product also has a life cycle, right? Now, human beings are born, we are born, we grow, right? We mature, become elderly, and we die. No, that's what the cycle we go through. So what are the stages in a PLC? Can someone support?
Development,
Pardon?
product development,
Right.
introduction of the product,
Hmm.
growth stage,
Yes.
maturity,
Yes.
declining.
Super. Right. So those are the stages of the product life cycle. The products are developed initially, then introduced to the market, and then they start growing, and they mature, and they become they either decline, or But remember, a product has an advantage than a human being. Products can be relaunched. When the product is at the decline stage, product can be relaunched or rejuvenate. But maybe we cannot, once we come to age of 70, 80, can we relaunch? Right? So we cannot relaunch. We have to decline and die anyway, right? But products can be real. That's how this products, especially Unilever products, the very common example, new Lux, new Rexona, all are new because the older version is more than 100 years old. Unilever brands. So what they did was when they come to a decline level of life cycle, some products, and they started rejuvenating it or relaunching or repositioning the product. How? So what they did was they changed some maybe ingredients like color, the appearance, right? Then some contents which is inside, and added some new ingredients into it. They changed the packaging and they relaunch it. That's how this Rexona with new Rexona with maybe Lime Fresh, Life Boy with different ingredients, right? Lux with different colors, black Lux, white Lux, rose, and so on, gold, so various stages. Even they introduced liquid Lux. Earlier we had solid form. So that's how they, but it is Lux, but in liquid form, liquid Lux. The color, the packaging, little changes they could do. So that's a different story. So then they will have a life cycle again, launch again, they will grow, mature and decline. Then again they can launch it with a different thing. A lot of products which are coming into the decline stage, they have repositioned. Like even you remember things like energy drinks like Horlicks. Horlicks comes as new Horlicks with new taste, chocolate Horlicks. With now they are different to previous common taste that Horlicks had. Now they added different ingredients and come up with relaunch Horlicks. And so on. So when a product, now what are the characteristics of products in each stage? In the growth introduction stage, what will happen is, introduction stage, the product will have very low sale. Say a new product is launched, at the start sales are very low, and we don't know whether the product will succeed or product will fail. So what do you do? So you give anyway support to push the product, and that time the competition also may be not very high. So gradually the product will grow. Then sales sales starts to grow or increase. So that time the competition might come in. And if you combine that product life cycle with the BCG model that we learn, BCG model is where product is classified into four quadrants. So there are question mark products, there are star products, there are cash cows, and there are dogs. Remember that? Right. So if you take in the product life cycle, what are the products you find? So mostly question mark products you have at the introduction level. Question marks mean you don't know whether the product will fail or succeed. But after they pass that introductory level, when their sales started growing, then the product can become a star, which need a lot of support and investment further to increase the market share. So if you combine BCG into that, so you find more star products in the growing stage, where their market share is also going to be relatively high, or increasing rather, and there's a demand for the product. Market for the product was growing. The demand is growing. And then comes the maturity, where then the product is now matured and it will bring steady cash flows to the market, or to the company. Steady cash flows to the company. Cash cows. They're called cash cows. So mature products now if you take our banking industry, what are the cash cows? We have matured products. Now tested. Customers know. So what are the cash cows? We have pawning is a cash cow. Housing is a cash cow. Home loans, business loans, personal loans, credit cards are become, because those are well known, tested, and you don't invest much on the product. They are now automatically auto selling. And there are some products there can be declining, outdated, which they call dog products, which we may have to delete or relaunch under different offer. So stages in the PLC are therefore, you will have to draw that shape, introduction to decline, and characteristic of each product or products in each stage is, you can logically understand when the product started growing, the competition is high, and you will have to maintain despite the competition and push the product until it comes to a cash cow stage. Explain the usefulness of BCG model for product management. That's what we touched in the previous question. BCG model. So the market growth rate and the market share, relative market share are the two variables that we consider there. So we call it in the introductory level, the market growth rate is good, is increasing, and the market share also increasing but low, they are called more of question marks. And then market share also increasing and market growth rate also high, they are called star products. And market growth rate is little low and market share is high, called cash cows. And market growth rate is low, market share is low, are called dogs. So these are the 4 quadrants that you talk about. And each product which are question marks can become stars and then become cash cows. But some products will fail, some question marks will become dogs and decline quickly. So what you have to do is now look at your product range in the bank and see what you have to plot each and every each product under these 4 quadrants. What are your star? What are your stars? What are your cash cows? What are your question marks? And what are your dogs? Question marks you'll have to carefully monitor and see where they are heading. But stars, definitely you have to support. Cash cows you have to maintain because they are giving you positive cash flows. And dogs, either you have to reposition or relaunch, or you have to delete it from the product range because no point of spending and waste allocating resources for dogs because you don't get sufficient return on your investment. Right? Okay. Okay. We'll go to the next question. Value chain. Discuss the application of value chain analysis for delivering more value to banking customers. So what are your can you remember the value chain analysis? Last week, so we said there are primary activities and there are support activities. Primary activities, support activities. There are 5 primary activities, 4 secondary activities. For example, now take a banking situation. You say you give a loan, want to give a loan facility to a large loan facility to a customer. The first your primary activity will start from the inbound logistics and the processes, outbound and sales and marketing and after sale service. So inbound logistics means the information that you collect for what? Collect to process the application, the data, the various information about the customer or the company and the repayment ability, the industry the business they are in, right? They are the customer. You will evaluate customer 5 C's: the character, the capacity, the capabilities and conditions, and the customer equity, and all that the data you need, right? Then you process the application, then recommendation, and then ultimately the loan facility is approved. But so then in addition to this process, to do all this, there has to be secondary or support activities also in place. Like you have to have the right infrastructure, you have to have the human resources, you have to have the right technology. So support activities are to be there, as starting from infrastructure to human resource support to technology and all that, to accomplish the primary activities well. So, and what Michael Porter said was, in the value chain model, ultimately what is important is deliver value to the customer within a strategic time frame. Now, in order to give that delivery of value, provide superior value to the customer, he said these primary activities and support activities are to be in place. But if why he said it's a value chain, he said if any activity, either primary or secondary activity, is not available, not in place, that link may be broken. So then the entire value chain can be disrupted. So he said, so every department in the bank will have to support the process as one bank in order to provide or deliver superior value to the customer. So it's a coordination and one objective that each department should have in order to provide superior value to the customer. Otherwise, the value delivery process will be disrupted. So Porter said we have to make sure that value chain continues in such a way that ultimately customer is given or delivered the superior value. So if you read the note, you can further understand that concept. So at that point, we will stop for the day. So I think we have done a good summary of all the three tudes that we did. I hope you have gone through the tudes. And I see there are some, there are not many many students are there. There are 25, 30 odd students are there. Others may be also at leisure time going through these tudes. That's good. Right. So currently there are, yes, there are a couple of, yeah, about 20 odd students. I given my email address and my phone number also. I can repeat it again. My phone number is 0777 587 863. Email address rmpdayavans@gmail.com. All simple, all together one word. You can email me or you can SMS anything that I want you to understand all concepts that we explain. If concepts are not clear, you have to clarify, because at the end of the day, you need to apply these concepts in your real life to get the full benefit of this program. Otherwise, if you don't apply the concept that we learn here in your real life as a banker, then you are not getting your full benefit. So, so thank you very much, and hope you enjoyed the session, and then we'll meet you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.